Hey Omnibus Collectors, it's Riley and I'm back with another Omnibus of the Week. So this time I'm going to be talking about DC's most recent offering, the second Omnibus of Green Lantern from Geoff Johns. And in that book he's joined by artists like Yvonne Race, Doug Mahnke, Philip Tan, and Mike McKone. So I already did a video back when the first Omnibus came out, so if you haven't seen that one I'll have a link somewhere for y'all who need to watch it. And that one ended off with the whole Sinestro Corps War crossover. Now this one continues directly off of the back of that one and starts to introduce all the different various Lantern Corps. So this second volume continues directly off of the back of that one as Johns begins to introduce us to all the various Lantern Corps. Now that's really one of the biggest things that Johns does in his run, is expands the Green Lantern mythology by introducing us to the entire emotional spectrum. Now of course we have the Sinestro Corps was already introduced to us in the first volume, and we've known for a while in the history of the Green Lantern that Sinestro has used a yellow light, but Johns kind of expands on that and gives him his own core. We also then in turn we'll find the various different Lantern Corps, and we learn about the different emotions that power their light. So we get red rage, orange avarice, we already have yellow fear, we already have the green willpower, blue hope, indigo compassion, and violet, who we actually already know the star sapphires, but they're revealed to be members of the whole entire emotional spectrum as well, are powered by love. And in these stories each of the various corps are looked into with a lot of detail. John shows us, not only the colors and the emotions behind them, but we get the main members of those corps, and eventually we are introduced to the entities, such as yellow having Parallax and green having Oa. All these revelations about the different colored corps were actually steps that Johns was taking leading up towards his next big event, which was Blackest Night. In that event we'd see the rise of a new corps, the Black Lanterns, who have the power to resurrect people. And with that we basically see all the dead heroes and a lot of the dead villains being resurrected, and we see our heroes including not only the Green Lanterns but the Justice League and much of the DC Universe as a whole having to face off against their old friends and foes. So this second omnibus contains all that material that was leading up to Blackest Night, including Rage of the Red Lantern and Agent Orange and the Secret Origin story arc, as well as the Blackest Night event, a bunch of the tie-ins to the event, and a bunch of issues outside of the main series and outside of Blackest Night that were written by Geoff Johns himself. Now I did mention Secret Origin. That was a story arc that lasted for 6 issues that Geoff Johns did, which actually re-established the origin story for Hal Jordan in a way that tied in Geoff Johns' mythology that he's creating with the various colored corps into that origin story. So we see early hints at characters like Atrocitus being a main player there, who later would appear and we find out that he's the main Red Lantern. So one of the things that I really love about Johns' run on Green Lantern is the fact that he works really hard to weave this intricate and detailed story where all the plot lines kind of tie together and work towards one main goal. Everything that he's doing, since Rebirth through now and beyond is all leading towards bigger things. So everything that you'd seen in the first omnibus was leading towards the Sinestro Corps War, and everything from the Sinestro Corps War and on is then leading up towards Blackest Night, and everything in total is leading up towards his big finale on the series, which we've seen already, and then those of you who are reading the omnibus editions will see in volume 3. So it's really cool to see him creating this really intricate and detailed plot where everything he does is really part of this huge important fabric of work, and by the end of it he leaves no stone unturned and no questions left unanswered. And with all of that, it really makes for an incredibly rewarding experience for those who are reading it from the very start to the finish. The whole Blackest Night story is actually something that he was working really hard leading up towards, and you can really see that in those earlier issues of Green Lantern. And you can see how he's leading up towards that storyline and building up little plot lines to make way for Blackest Night as a whole. On top of all that, Geoff Johns is a great writer because he really understands the voice and characterization of all of those characters that he uses in his runs, and especially in his Green Lantern run, he's not only utilizing a ton of characters from DC's mythology, but in this run in particular, he's creating a lot of new characters for his Green Lantern mythology. He's creating all the different characters from all the different corps, and a lot of new, villains and protagonists and stuff that Hal Jordan and the rest of the Green Lantern Corps work beside, and not a single one of them has, you know, a redundant voice in this book. They all come off as incredibly individual characters who have their own personalities, their own voices, and you can tell that Johns worked really hard to create these characters as individuals by looking into what their backstory was, who their family is, who they were growing up, what their goals are. And he also has an idea of where all these characters are going in their futures as well. And I think that in a whole, that's really impressive when you see just how big of a cast that Johns is working with in his Green Lantern run. And it really pays off in making this a really great reading experience. So anyway, let's take a look at the book itself. All right, now I got the box out here. I haven't even opened it yet. I know that you guys enjoy watching unboxing videos, so I thought I'd give you all that opportunity since I just got this one in and I haven't even opened it yet. I do have over here the first omnibus just for the sake of comparison once we get the box open, and I'm also using my big trusty knife here because I lost my pocket knife somewhere. Don't know where it is. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna jab into this and open it up, and I should have, I think, just one more book in there along with the Green Lantern Omnibus, but that's for another time. Anyway, I did this did come from In Stock Trades. They do use the Instapack little foam blocks to ensure bomb-proof packaging every single time. And then the book is wrapped in plastic. There's more Instapack on the bottom. So there's 4 blocks of that stuff in the box for maximum protection. And here is the book. I'll go ahead and get this unwrapped and I'll be right back. I've already gone to the liberty of removing the dust jacket from the book, so we can take a look at that right now. As you can see, the spine is the exact same as the spine on the first volume, so hopes would be that the third volume has the exact same spine as well. I would have rather them been different. As you can see, I'm just going to take a peek at my shelf over here. You can see that the 3 JSA volumes that I have up on my shelf have very different spine covers. The 3 Flash volumes have the same covers, but I prefer the look of the 3 JSA ones as it gives a little bit of individuality to each one. It's not going to bother me. It's not a make or break on the book, the design on the spine, but I'm just saying that it seemed a little bit lazy for the 3 Green Lantern ones to have the exact same design. And the cover, of course, is from Blackest Night, so we see Hal standing in front of members of all the different corps. And we have our creator credits right here. There is a description on one of the inner flaps here of the War of Light. So this is describing you know, all the different colored corps fighting with and against each other. Across the universe, the dead will rise, of course referring to the Blackest Night event itself. And I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in on the contents. Here you can see the contents are Green Lantern 26 through 52, Rage of the Red Lanterns #1, and Blackest Night 0 through 8. As well, there are a few issues of Blackest Night Tales of the Lantern Corps, which were also written by Geoff Johns, and those are included kind of as back matter in this volume with some other bonus material. And on the other inside flap here, we get a creator profile for Geoff Johns. We'll take a look at the book itself. We got an image of Hal on the front. The spine beneath the dust jacket is the same as the spine beneath the dust jacket on the first volume. And on the back, we get another nice image of Hal Jordan. I'm going to take a look at the spine on this guy. I've opened it up to about the middle of the book. You can see a really nice eye hole here. You can see straight through. There's plenty of room here, which means there's a good amount of room for the book to stay open and for the pages to spread. It doesn't open as flat as a lot of Marvel books usually do, so there is a little bit of a gutter here, but it's not so terrible that A, you have to struggle to keep the book open, and B, that you lose material and you can't see what's going on in the gutter of the actual book. And here you can see is about how long it took before the book would stay open on its own. So with this chunk of pages right here, you pretty much have to hold them down because it'll start to close. It's still doing okay now, but they'll start to flap up a little bit. And these earlier pages basically the book will start to close on its own. So you do have to hold maybe the first 100 or 200 pages and probably the last 100 or 200 pages down as well. But that does mean it has better binding than a lot of what DC has to offer and what they've done in the past. From this point forth, I'm going to be showing off interior panels. So if you don't want any spoilers, please skip past all this because I'm going to be showing off a lot of spoilers for the story, just to kind of show off the artwork and how it looks on these oversized pages. Now, one thing that I don't particularly like with a lot of DC's omnibus is they don't have much of a title or contents page. It goes straight, like that's the first cover of the first issue, so it goes straight into that. There's a bunch of like publisher information right here, but there's no table of contents, and I like that about a lot of the Marvel books because they give you a rundown of each issue and who's involved, so you can tell what artists are on each issue. Now they do give, you know, information here on, you know, you can see it's Johns and McCone and all the different people who worked on this issue, and it does that for every single issue, and that's nice, but I also would like to have a contents page at the front as well. And I'm going to flip to the back real quick and just show off some of the bonus material. There's director commentary from the Blackest Night #0. That includes a bunch of the sketches from the original issue. You know, just the pencil work without the inks or anything. And then there's this, which is labeled as a deleted scene from Blackest Night. So that's pretty interesting to have. And then it goes into the Book of the Black, which was a bunch of material collected at the back of the Blackest Night issues. So it's cool to have that all together back here. That goes on for several pages before going into the variant cover gallery. There's a bunch of variant covers for many different issues of both Green Lantern and of Blackest Night. A lot of different nice art from a lot of different nice artists in here. And then the last few pages are different shots showing the members of the various corps. So here's the Green, the Red Lanterns, Agent Orange, the Sinestro Corps, the Blue Lantern Corps, the Indigo Tribe, and the Star Sapphires, and then the Black Lantern Corps. So that's all of the bonus material in this one. And then I just wanted to flip through and show off some of the nice artwork that we can see throughout the pages of this book. Here's a 2-page segment from Secret Origin story. Here's another nice one from Secret Origin. Another nice looking thread from Secret Origin. There's a good early look at Atrocitus. More Atrocitus. There's one from the Rage of the Red Lanterns. It's the introduction of Saint Walker, the first Blue Lantern. You get a look at the Star Sapphires. There's Hal and the Blue Lanterns. It's a real nice spread with a lot going on. And of course, Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern. Here's the cover of one of my personal favorite issues of the entire run, which shows the new origin story for Black Hand as he becomes a Black Lantern. There's a nice spread with all the different emotional core. Then we get into Blackest Night #0, and pretty much the second half of this book is all Blackest Night. So there's going to be some cool spreads in there as well. I'll try to hit really quick. And we see all the rings going out. This spread is actually Hal showing Barry, who just recently came back to life, everyone who died while he had been dead. So that was a really emotional scene for Barry Allen. We see a bunch of the Black Lanterns rising. And one of the cool things I want to point out in the book is this is going from issue 1 of Blackest Night, and it goes straight into a tie-in issue from Green Lantern. So it's going intermittently between issues of Green Lantern and Blackest Night, which is nice because it follows the kind of the route that the issues were published, which is the chronological story order that you would want to read this in. Nice panel with John Stewart, the Black Lantern Spectre. Nice one of Sinestro versus Mongol. And here we have Necron. There's Hal, Sinestro, and Atrocitus. You have the various corps teaming up. More of the Rainbow Brigade teaming up. We have the rise of Black Lantern Batman and several other big Black Lantern superheroes. And the Ring's taking on avatars of various superheroes and villains. There's a return of Parallax. And then of course Parallax infects Hal Jordan once again. Hal Jordan as Parallax going up against the Black Lantern Spectre. White Lantern Sinestro. There's a nice spread of Hal and Sinestro. There's Sinestro with all the different entities from the different corps. The White Lantern Corps. And this all led up towards the revival of a bunch of heroes who had been recently dead, and some villains as well. And they got to rejoin the DC universe. And it all leads up towards the Brightest Day story arc, which will continue on at the beginning of the third omnibus. So I hope that y'all enjoyed taking a look at the book with me. Hopefully if you were on the fence about buying this, that I can, steer you one way or the other, hopefully towards picking it up, because I personally think it's a great volume. DC did a really good job of collecting this book, putting it together, and I think putting it in a really great reading order too, because since there are crossover issues with Blackest Night, it took a little work in deciding which order to fit them in. So it's a really great book. It's an amazing story. I particularly love it. If you haven't picked up the first omnibus yet, please watch my video about that one. Hopefully I can talk you into grabbing that one, and then you'll grab this one as well. And be with the rest of us who already have both of them and are waiting for that third and final one to come out, because it's an amazing run to have, and one that I think looks amazing on the shelf. So kudos to DC for doing something great with these Geoff Johns Green Lantern books. And hopefully we see after this, because we've seen like everything Johns related being put into Omnibus: Flash, Teen Titans, Green Lantern, and JSA. So hopefully after the third Green Lantern one, we can finally get a Superman by Geoff Johns, and then maybe later an Aquaman or something as well. But anyway, enough about that. So thanks so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me and watch me talk about this stuff. I really love doing it, and I hope that you love watching it as well. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot to have you guys, telling me what you thought about my videos and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't already, please check out my website, theomnibuscollector.com. Check out collectedcomicslibrary.com. I do a podcast every week or every other week or so with the guys on there called The Collective. It's a very cool podcast. I hope that you listen to it. And check out my Facebook group, The Omnibus Collectors, Comic Swap, and Community. I'll have links to stuff down below, including links to this book in case you want to buy it, so you can grab your own copy and all that kind of stuff. So again, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Please stay cool, and I'll see y'all next time.